Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
చూసుకో సార్ వాట్సాప్ చూసుకో. నేను ఆపోజిట్ లో ఉన్నాను కదా, నేను దారిలో కనిపిస్తుంది. నేను ఇటుపక్క తిరగాలి అప్పుడు. అవును బిందరు అప్పుడు ఇటు నుంచి వస్తే శారదా నీకు అర్థం కాదు శారదా, లైట్ నుంచి అటు నుంచి వస్తుంది, నీకు ఎలా కనిపిస్తుంది? ఆయన కిచెన్ లో కూర్చుంటాడు, ఆయన కిచెన్ లో వేరే విండో వెంటిలేషన్ వస్తుంది ఆయనకి, అందుకే మమ్మీ కనబడుతుంది ఆయనకి రెండు పక్క తెలీదే శారదా. ఎంతమంది జాయిన్ అవుతారు ఎంతమంది తెలియదు వాళ్ళు. అందరూ లాంగ్ వీకెండ్ లో ఉన్నారు. ఒకరు ఇండియాలో ఉన్నారు, ఇద్దరు. మరి ఇది తెలుసా మరి వాళ్ళిద్దరు భద్ర ప్రభు జాయిన్ అయిపోయింది. మన వాళ్ళు ఎవరు చెప్తారు? Hare Krishna, Bhadra Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Today, I think because of the Thanksgiving long weekend, I think maybe the participation looks like maybe less. Hare Krishna, Bhadra Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Joy. Hear me now?
Yes, Prabhu. Today, I think
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
let's wait for a few more minutes, Prabhu, then we can start, Prabhu.
Sure. So I'll be back then.
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Maybe, Prabhuji, we can start, Prabhuji. Maybe devotees will be joining slowly. We can start and welcome.
I mean, if you want, we can wait for another 4 or 5 minutes if you want, if you think.
Sure, Prabhuji. Whatever you say, we can wait.
No,
Or
you have experience in this, so your group. So
yeah,
you
let's
tell
wait for
me.
maybe a couple more minutes, Prabhuji. Maybe we can start,
Sure,
Prabhuji. Just for a couple
sure,
more minutes. Yeah,
sure.
thank you, Prabhu.
No problem. So you all are in Richmond?
Oh, sorry, I was talking in mute. Yes, Prabhuji. We are in
You are.
Richmond.
It's a
I was
big
talking.
congregation there, huh?
It's not a big congregation at the same time, not a very, very small kind of, it's like, moderate kind of thing, Prabhu. And it's, that too, it's a COVID time and we are virtually meeting and every Saturday programs or any festivals, events. And we haven't started the in-person programs yet. And hopefully, maybe beginning of next year, if Krishna willing, by Krishna willing, maybe we can start in person. Right.
But you have your weather is not as cold as Washington, right? You have
It is all maybe a few degrees, a little warmer here, Prabhu, compared to DC, but not big variance.
Not variance. I see. I know that devotee who comes to Brajmandal Parikrama every year. This year they didn't come.
From Richmond, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Sriman, Prabhu?
Yes. Yeah. He comes to Parikrama every year, him and his wife.
Sriman Prabhu and Nirguna Mataji.
Yeah. But this year they didn't come, I guess.
Maybe, yeah, maybe because of this COVID or maybe, or maybe some other reason which we don't know. It's 6 minutes to pass the hour, Prabhuji. Can we start, Prabhuji?
You decide.
Sure,
If you
Prabhuji.
want,
Let's start,
you
Prabhuji.
can.
I don't want to
Okay.
hold up devotees and you as well. And thank you so much, Bhadra Prabhu. Thank you for accepting our request, for giving
Thank
us
you
your
for
association in
thank you for
Prabhupada's service.
keeping me. Thank you for engaging me.
Yeah, sure, Prabhuji. And just for introduction, um, Prabhuji's introduction to the devotees, His Grace Bhadra Prabhu joined in ISKCON movement in 1979. So he has been traveling in this movement journey with more than 4+ decades. It's a long journey. And Prabhupada, Prabhuji is a disciple of His Holiness Srila Satswarup Maharaj, disciple. And yeah, Prabhuji has been there in Alacho for last 21 years. And he has been doing he has been serving Prabhupada and doing services in different roles. Majorly, Prabhuji is managing, leading the Ratha Yatras in Florida, and at the same time, Vrajmandala Yatra in Vrindavan um, since several years. So I would like to have Prabhuji's association now. And today's topic is Srila Prabhupada's books, simple yet deep. Now, Prabhuji, all yours. You can take it up from here, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, all of you. Good morning. Thank you for engaging me in service, sharing some what I have learned, what I have experienced, what I have realized to share with the devotees. Thank you for keeping me engaged. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmalitamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Sya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padanu Sahagana Sri Lalita Sri Vishakhavitam Sya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devanani Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha Namam Vishnu Padare Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurani Pachare Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashitadistani Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Again, thank you for engaging me. The topic is about Srila Prabhupada's books, simple yet deep. But before we start that, let's talk about the Srila Prabhupada, author of these books. Who Srila Prabhupada was, or who Srila Prabhupada is. What was the forecast about him before he appeared in 1896? And then we talk about Srila Prabhupada's some of the qualities. And then we talk about why his books. Books are the basis, Srila Prabhupada said that. Purity is the force, books are the basis, utility is the principle. And preaching is the essence. These are the things Srila Prabhupada said. But particularly books are the basis. So why books? And how they affect the people in their lives. So we talk about that, what books represents. And then we can also talk, if time is there, we can also talk about it. How to read these books. How? Because this is very important. Reading Srila Prabhupada's books. And then we end up with a nice story, one Sankirtan story, which shows how even the Christians, how even Jesus Christ is inspiring to his follower to take Srila Prabhupada's books. And then we can take the questions and answers. So as far as the Srila Prabhupada's position, before we go, let's see his podcast before he appeared. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years ago had said here. This is his saying. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, who is Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Hiyanya. Lord Chaitanya, none other than Radha Krishna. So this is the Lord, who is none other Radha Krishna, is saying that my commander-in-chief devotee will spread the chanting of the holy names around the world. This Lord Chaitanya had to say. Also, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, a great Vaishnava saint in 1881, he said, very soon a great personality will appear who will spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. And then Krishna himself says in Brahmavad Purana, 5,000 years ago, in Brahmavad Purana, says, after 5,000 years of this age have passed, the great sage and worshipper of my holy names will appear and spread the chanting of my names throughout the world. And then they have done the calculation. And according to that calculation from this Brahmavad Purana, when Krishna says, it comes out 1896. And Srila Prabhupada appeared in 1896. And not just that, but in 1896, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur sent a book about Lord Chaitanya to McGill University in Canada, about Lord Chaitanya. In 1890, when Srila Prabhupada appeared. So we can see from all this podcast, and then after coming here, after coming to United States, the Harvey Cox, Professor Harvey Cox, who was the one of the America's leading Christian theologian at that time, based in Harvard School of Divinity, said, this is what he had to say. After Srila Prabhupada arriving in the United States and after having seen Srila Prabhupada's achievements, he said, at a very advanced age, when most people would be resting on their laurels, Srila Prabhupada hearkened to the mandate of his own spiritual teacher and set out on the difficult and demanding voyage to America. He is, of course, only one of the thousands of teachers, but in one sense, in another sense, he is one in 1,000, maybe one in 1,000,000. This is the prophecy of Harvey Cox, which says, who was a theologian of Christian religion in Harvard University. So we can see from all this data, we can see who Srila Prabhupada was. He is not an ordinary personality. He is the person who was not on the bodily concept of life. He didn't come to spread the religion. He used to say Krishna consciousness is a science. And science of the soul, he would say. That's why Hare Krishna movement, when we talk about the Hare Krishna movement, it's not some kind of sectarian religion. It is a science, but science on the spiritual platform, completely in a third dimension, you can say. It is on third dimension to understand that this movement is on the spiritual platform, dealing with the soul. Because every living entity is part and parcel of the Lord. Doesn't matter, Christian, Jewish, Mohammedan, Hindu, anyone you take, all are part and parcel of the Lord. And we are part and parcel of the Lord means the soul to be engaged in the service of the Lord. This is what Srila Prabhupada gave us on this planet. So his mission was to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, fulfill the desire of Krishna, fulfill the desire of Radha Krishna. That was his life and soul. And that's why when Srila Prabhupada first time he met his Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, what did he say? In the first meeting, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Srila Prabhupada even didn't want to go to see him because there are so many sadhus in India. And those sadhus were coming to his home and his father was serving them. And some sadhus would, smoke bidis and all these things. Srila Prabhupada didn't want to go. But his friend kind of pushed him, dragged him, you can say, to bring him to meet. And the first meeting, his Guru Maharaj is telling to spread this message in English language. And not just that, but after that he meets again to his Guru Maharaj. And his Guru Maharaj says that when you get a chance, when you get money, print books. Why he kind of stress on the books? Because books are the basis of this movement. Preaching is the essence. So on that basis, Srila Prabhupada's goal was to, besides the spreading Krishna consciousness, besides spreading the holy name in every town and village, his goal was to publish books. And that was his life and soul in his life. And that's what he tried to do. He tried his best. And that's why in this short time, in the 14 years, whatever time he had, he published 75 books. So the books are, and besides that, because he is coming in disciplic succession, that's another thing. He is coming disciplic successions. He's not someone Tom and Harry came from India and just to just to get the name, fame, profit, distinction, address and recognition. He was not interested in that. He was not. He was dealing, when he was seeing the people, he was not seeing their bodies. He was going to their soul. That person, and little bit he saw little bit bhakti, devotion in that person. He was very expert in fanning that spark of that bhakti into making into fire. See? And he was so kind that he wanted the living entities, doesn't matter who they were. He was seeing that these living entities are suffering in this world, wherever he went. So he wanted to engage them in the service of the Lord, because that is the mission of the human form of life. So his compassion was not on the bodily concept, on the bodily platform. His compassion was on directly dealing with the soul of that personality. And use that body as an instrument in the service of the Lord. That was his mission. He didn't compromise. He made adjustment according to time, place, and circumstances. But he did not water down the principle, siddhanta. He did not do that. That is the most important thing. And he was so humble that he would just say that I'm just following the order of my spiritual master. And my spiritual master has sent all of you to preach this message. That's what he would say. Now, why the books seem to be simple, but they are deep. And they are deep. It is true. How they are deep? Because they are representing. They are deep because if you go through the purports of Srila Prabhupada books, then you will find that he has taken one sentence in that purport. We'll have the combination of the commentaries of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Sridhar Swami. Just one sentence of that purport of Srila Prabhupada's purport of his book. Combine all these commentaries in one or two sentences. And we have seen this. Who would do that? Who can do that? Only the person who is empowered can put this together after the age of 70. Usually after the age of 70, 75, 80, the body just cannot function properly. Not just body, but the memory also goes down. We can't even remember. And here the personality who does all this, who is just opposite to what the body, his body, he was, and his schedule was the same. Imagine when we come from India or when you go to India, we are affected by the jet lag. He was not affected. For him, the schedule was the same. Whether in India and he flew to Los Angeles, same schedule. So how is that? Because he was empowered personality. Empowered personality to do these things. Spread. And he fulfilled the desire of his spiritual master to spread the holy name in every town and village. As far as the books are concerned, his books are here, there are few reasons. First, because his books promote the unmotivated, uninterrupted devotional service to the Supreme, along with the practical means to attain it. He wanted to make Krishna conscious. He didn't start the society with International Society of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. He didn't do that. Like there are many societies, Rajneesh Society, Chinmaya Society, or whoever societies, they have the names of those people who started it. Srila Prabhupada didn't do it. He didn't put his name. He said International Society of Krishna Consciousness, because living entity is part and parcel of Krishna. So he wanted to remind that your consciousness should be Krishna conscious. He didn't put his name. So he wanted to, through his book, he is giving the uninterrupted, unmotivated, how to perform, how to come to that platform of unmotivated, uninterrupted devotional service to Lord. That's coming through his books and through his lectures, through his conversations. Second is precisely an authority to describe the name, form, abode, pastimes, and loving associates of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's described, he's putting. Before Bhagavad Gita as it is, nobody had, there were so many Bhagavad Gita, but nobody had said that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So any Bhagavad Gita song. Nobody. Srila Prabhupada is the one, Bhagavad Gita as it is, and showing that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purna Purushottam. He's showing that. Because he was lover of Krishna. So he is putting this, he's describing to any living entities, whether someone is the beginner or someone is in a movement for in Hare Krishna movement for 40, 50 years, same thing. Describing the name, form, qualities, pastimes, Lord abode, what Krishna does, what is your relationship with Krishna. These we can learn from his books and by associating with devotees, by hearing. In the Kali Yuga, the main thing is the Shravanam Kirtanam and then Smaranam. Hearing is the first thing. So these are the and they are authoritative. It's not that he has made up. He used to read his own books. Usually the author don't read their books. Usually. But here he was reading his own books. So there his disciple would ask, Srila Prabhupada, you wrote the books, why are you reading? He used to say, I have not written it. Krishna has written it. I am just an instrument. Krishna has dictated these books through me. And that's why he was reading the books, and he was relishing it. Not just that, but he was relishing. In the material world, someone writes a book and they read the book and they relish, and it is like, it is okay, but it's not. This is on the spiritual platform he was relishing. Reading pastimes of Krishna. Because he was himself also thinking as a part and parcel of the Lord, Krishna. So, he said in the letter to Krishna, whatever appreciation we are getting on account of our books, it is because we are following the path chalked out by exalted devotees. He says, when he says the books are the basis. He said this in 1972. My first concern is that my books shall be published and distributed profusely all over the world. Practically, books are the basis of our movement. Without them, our preaching has no effect. And this is what he had seen, because his Guru Maharaj had said to him in his morning walk on the bank of Radhakund in India, in Vrindavan, when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj had come with his parikrama and Srila Prabhupada was Grihastha, and he went to meet him. And the bank of the Radhakund, while they are walking, at that time, what was happening was, it was I think in 1932, if I'm wrong, if I remember. It was the time when all his followers of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, even Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, and I'm not here to criticize, but I'm telling what I have heard, that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, when even he was on planet, and in the Calcutta he had a mart, and some devotees, his followers, were kind of thinking of, this is my room, that's my room, this will be my place, this will be like that. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj was a little bit not happy with that. And that's why he said that I would just sell the marbles and get the money and print the books. And that's what Srila Prabhupada knew, how he heard. So that's why he wanted to publish his books. Another reason, he said, why his books are. He said the major works Srila Prabhupada chose to translate and comment, particularly Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Nectar of Devotion, provide readers with a complete, inspiring, and balanced course of instruction on Bhakti Yoga. His unparalleled purport display a level of compassion and faith in Lord Chaitanya's mercy in the process of devotional service and the power of the works themselves that is rarely seen in the world. So what it is saying is that in the line of discipline succession, if you look at the six Goswamis, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami written so many books. So many books they have written. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written so many books too. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. But if you can see the language, it's difficult to understand the language to the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj's language is so high, British language, British English the British, difficult to understand, difficult to when we read the Brahma Samhita commentary by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. It's so language, English is on so high level. But what Srila Prabhupada did, he made it very simple. Any common man can read the books, his books, and understand it. And that's why they joined Hare Krishna movement, because of the books distribution. And that's why he stored. Srila Prabhupada's purports have broken open the same storehouse of love of Godhead that Lord Chaitanya and his associates plundered over 500 years ago. Because the teachings of his purports are so down to earth and practical, beginners in spiritual life can follow them, but they also satisfy advanced practitioners who have learned how to read the layers of meaning they contain and thus find elucidations of the topmost devotional practices. So those Srila Prabhupada's purports, through their sensible, simple, clear, yet eloquent instructions on the proper education of bhakti, can set people at all levels of spiritual development solidly on the path of pure devotional service. This is what Srila Prabhupada's books are. That's what it is. But for the beginners, for who are in couple of years in movement, for people who are in 50, 60 years, and he had said that my books will be for next 10,000 years will be law books. He had said that. So this is what it is, Srila Prabhupada's books. And that's why book distribution is stressed. But to understand the books means we have to read it. To preach means he said here. He said to Srila Prabhupada, he had the meeting with the Sankirtan devotees. He said, a few days austerity on Sankirtan is equal to 60,000 years austerity by Valmiki. I mean, few days austerity on Sankirtan is equal to 60,000 years austerity by Valmiki. So we can see how degraded this age of Kali is. How degraded we are in this age of Kali. The Valmiki performed the 60,000 years austerity. That is equal to few days austerity in the book in the Sankirtan movement. So this is the simple thing he made. And then he said, Then book distributor, in a darshan with a book distributor, Srila Prabhupada said, you must read the books. I have painstakingly translated these books for your benefit because I want you all to become pure devotees. Lord Chaitanya said, Amar agya guru guru hoy, taro des. Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh. That was Lord Chaitanya. And that's what Srila Prabhupada wanted. Srila Prabhupada wanted everybody to become gurus, everybody to spread, read, qualify, read, and spread the message. That was Srila Prabhupada desire, that we read his books and then share them with others, make our lives perfect, and help others to become happy in Krishna consciousness. And that's what we are meant to do. Because this moment is not on the bodily concept of life. This material world, all we are dealing on the bodily concept of life. I'm Gujarati, I'm Hindu, I'm Muslim, I'm Chinese, I'm Russian, I'm Japanese, I'm German, I'm male, I'm female. This is all the bodily. This is what we do in the bodily concept of life, all our lives. But this moment is above these bodily concepts, above. And we will have to come that above. We will have to come. By the end of our life, we will have to come to realize. Me and you and everybody will have to come to realize, I'm not this body. That was the first instruction Krishna gave to Arjuna in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And Srila Prabhupada said, he said, I will never die. I shall live from my books. And you will utilize them. This Srila Prabhupada interview in July 16, 1975. So, it's important that we read Srila Prabhupada's books. And of course, reading is not easy. But at the same time, he had made it very simple, but still is difficult for us because we are degraded in the age of Kali. He said, if you just read this one book, one chapter, one page, one line, one word, you will become Krishna conscious. He said the Sankirtan will make you happy, but the books will keep you convinced. Because we are intelligent living beings and we need knowledge, our intelligence need to be nourished. But how can the intelligence be nourished? By reading Srila Prabhupada's book, by discussing. More important than reading is the discussing. Because you see, when we discuss, then it comes, the different devotees come up with different viewpoints, different perspective. And there is no wrong in it. That is the beauty about it. It broadens our perspective when we discuss Srila Prabhupada. And that's why it's nice to have a group reading. It's nice to have a group reading on the Zoom or whatever, once or twice or 3 times or 4 times a week, every day. There is a group here in Tampa, you all probably know. They have every day the set time from 8 o'clock to 8:45 every night, Monday to Friday, and Saturday, Sunday morning. They have covered already 9 cantos. They're going to start now 10th canto. Set time every day. Just a couple of them, they read on the Zoom, or they have Zoom, like that. And they discuss whatever, some bring up some points. realization. So this is what is important. And Srimad Bhagavat, entire Srimad Bhagavatam answers two questions. Two questions, entire Srimad Bhagavatam has answered. One is how to live a life, is how to live in this world, in the world how to live, and how to get out from how to leave this world. How to live a life in this material world, and how to get out from how to leave this material world, leave this body. These are the questions answering Srimad Bhagavatam. So now difficulty. How should we do? How should we? Because some of the obstacles comes in reading, understanding Srila Prabhupada's books, purports. But that's gonna come by chanting. Srila Prabhupada's purports, they are simple, but it's not easy to understand sometimes. Because there is so intricacies in purport in one sentence, two sentences of the purport. It's difficult. But that difficulty overcome by chanting the holy name. Because when we chanting the holy name, we are calling out to Krishna. Krishna is in the holy name. There is no difference in the holy name and Krishna. Krishna is the holy name. So when we are chanting attentively, then Krishna knows what we need to know. Many times when I have to give a class, and particularly fifth canto, which is I'm right now giving classes on the fifth canto to the ISKCON Phoenix. I give 3 days in a week. I give classes, and right now we are on the fifth canto. And fifth canto is all the universal universe, structure of the universe and sun and all this. It is mind-boggling to talk about those, about the whole universe structure of the universe, and all the different planets and different versas and different, islands. And this is all, and it's sometimes it's difficult to comprehend. See? But when I chant the holy name, qualitatively, and thoughts comes, what am I going to say? Then it reveals, Krishna reveals what to say. So same way Srila Prabhupada's purports also. Because of so what are the obstacles? Obstacles are inattention. We are not attentive when we chant, when we read. Because we can read, but the mind is somewhere else. Lack of time. Prabhu, I have no time. I have so much other things to do. And priorities, we don't prioritize that this is books, reading the books is not my real priority at present. It's not on top of my priority. This is what we think. And that's why we are not able to do it. And then when the obstacles come in our devotional service, then we shut back and we leave probably even. We just leave Srila Prabhupada. And this has happened. We have seen this again and again in the last 50 years. Because the point is that question might be, so how to overcome these obstacles? Inattention, lack of time, or no priorities, right? Because most of the time we usually think, I know the philosophy. Why should I read the same thing again and again? I'm not this body. Keep telling in the class, they are saying the same thing. I'm not this body. Why? I mean, I know why I have to keep hearing this again and again. Why? But the point is that apply the philosophy daily to our lives, not just keep it theoretical, but make it realized. So there is a person Bhagavat and there is a book Bhagavat. And person Bhagavat is following the book Bhagavat. And that's what Srila Prabhupada was. He was a book, he was not just that, he was a person Bhagavat. He was following, his life was like that. And that's what we see in the great personalities. The life is like a Bhagavat. No difference. So how should we do it? How we should overcome these obstacles? So there are few points is mentioned. One is that find a sacred place to read without any distraction, uninterrupted, alone, go alone, uninterrupted, quiet for a specific time, read the books. Second is humble attitude. Take a time to cultivate an appropriate attitude of approaching of your reading, of the soul who is in need of association, guidance, and mercy. Be humble. Third, offer prayers before starting. Before starting, offer prayers. You may offer prayers to the topic which you are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. If you're reading about Ajamil, we offer prayers. Third is read slowly. We have tendency to read so fast. Because when we read, then each purport, each sentence has some meaning behind it. Purpose of this kind of reading is not quantity, but meaningful association of what purport has to say. Then find interesting words. Find some interesting phrase, interesting word, what the purport is saying. And this is my experience also, usually in the first, when we read the purport, Srimad Bhagavatam, first 2 or 3 sentences says everything what Srila Prabhupada has to say. Most of the time. Not all the time, but if you read 2 or 3 sentences, in the beginning it says what it means, what he meant. See. And that which strikes, catches our attention. See. And stop at that point and think. You may repeat meaningful phrases to yourself over and over. Just stay with that point until you have sufficiently meditated upon it, or until it is no longer maintains your attention. Then there is again slowly reading until another point strikes you as special in the purport. Repeat the process as often as you wish, for as long as you allotted time remains. Offer obeisances. When your time is up, offer obeisances, if you like. Words either loud mentally. Appreciation of any realization that may have been offered to you. And apply as much as you are able. Assimilate what you have read and realize into your life. So these are some of the points. If we follow it, try it. Then we can, and it's important. And then important preaching is the essence. We want to share, and as we share more and more to other people, we get more uplifted. It's like a balloon. A balloon is going up in the sky high. See, so as the balloon goes up, you also go up high. See, so but how? By sharing it. As you share more and more to the people, you get more and more realizations. This is our experience. So that's why Srila Prabhupada said, don't keep it yourself. Give out, distribute. Distribute knowledge to others. Give out knowledge. And that is the highest humanitarian work. To get someone from the bodily concept of life and above, wiping out all the person's karmas and bring him to the back to home, back to Godhead, is the highest welfare work you can do. We can do to the public. Besides prasad distribution, of course. So, and the last here it says that sincere seekers, advanced practitioners, and especially those dedicated to expanding ISKCON can thus be confident in the study of Srila Prabhupada's books, knowing that what he is offering, especially in his purports, will help them build a strong devotional foundation and progress safely to the goal of life. And they can be confident that by distributing these translated books, they are helping others to do the same. So this Hare Krishna movement, he started with that purpose. That's why he says preaching is the essence. Otherwise we become stagnant. If we don't share this knowledge, what we receive, then we become stagnant. And that's what happens to many movements. And as sampradayas, they don't do it, and that's what happens. And that's why Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj wanted. That's what he wanted, and that's what Srila Prabhupada did. Otherwise, if you find, and I'm not here to criticize, if you find different maths, Gaudiya maths, I mean, they have the building and they have some followers, and that's about it. But Srila Prabhupada was revolutionized. He was revolutionary on this planet. See? To bring the people to have a life in the people's life. They have a life. That's what Srila Prabhupada was. That's what he was interested. Otherwise, this movement becomes stagnant and then it doesn't go anywhere. So it's going to go on. Whether we take it or not, that's up to individual. That's up to us. Individual has to decide. If you don't take it, that's up to I'm the loser. If I take it, I will go up. I will go up and on my path of my journey, my spiritual journey. And the last is about this story, this nice book distribution story. This is Bhagavad Priya Das from Hungary. He's telling this story. He was distributing. He said, I'm going door to door to hand out the Bhagavad Gita and other books in Hungary, in Europe. Say, one day a woman opened her door I presented her the books and she invited me to enter her house. Then slept telling me she would donate. She said she would donate, just like that. I was stunned by what I live in her home. In her home there was a magnificent painting of Jesus Christ, big painting of Jesus Christ she had. And here the devotee is going in her home and she said, I will donate to you. So this devotee started to admire that painting of Jesus Christ because she was Christian. That's what her life was. Then listen to what she said. She said, I think you will understand what I'm going to tell you, since you appreciate this painting so much. Because the devotee was admiring that painting of Jesus Christ, because the devotee knew that she is a Christian, she is follower. But then she said, this is what she said. 2 years ago, Jesus came to me in a dream and said, this is what Jesus said to her 2 years ago. It would be good if you were a vegetarian. Otherwise, you won't be able to understand God. This is the lady has a dream, and in dream Jesus is telling her. And then further up, listen to this. He's coming in a dream to teach me, so was a shock, but his message was clear, and I become a vegetarian. And here, 3 days ago, the devotee went, 3 days ago, when devotee went, before 3 days ago, she had a dream again. She said, 3 days ago, he came back, Jesus came back and said, in 3 days, a monk will come to your house with books, take them. And here you are, at the announced moment. Devotee went the 3 days before Jesus had come and said, the monk will come and bring the books, take them books, take these books. And after 3 days, right, this devotee is going there with the books. She bought all the books I had. The devotee is saying, I was so glad to hear that Jesus is with us. So there are many stories, many Sankirtan pastimes are there. We hear, we read so many pastimes of the Sankirtan, good distribution. So this is why it is important that we are dealing with a personality. It is authenticity. We are dealing with an authentic person. We are not dealing with here someone who had come on this planet, particularly coming to the United States at the age of 70 to get some name, fame, profit, distinction, address and recognition, pratishtha. He was not interested in that. We are dealing with personality who is coming from the spiritual world to uplift us, uplift the whole humanity on this planet, to bring all of everybody back to home, back to God. That's what we are dealing with. So we are very fortunate. We are very fortunate. But what should we do with that fortune? What should we do with that fortune? We should share that fortune with others. Share that. As we share more and more, we go up and up in the spiritual. So that's what Srila Prabhupada wanted. And that's what Hare Krishna movement is all about. So, and that's why he didn't say, he said Hare Krishna movement. He didn't say Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami movement. He didn't say that. He said Hare Krishna movement. Because he wanted to everybody know Krishna, at least hear Krishna, read Krishna, hear Krishna's name, holy name. Okay, so I think the time is up. Thank you. I'm sure that there is any questions, comments, anything we can share.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. You explained it very nice, very elaborate, very detailed. Thank you so much. And it's in a simple language, but it's very touching. Thank you so much, Rohini, for such a nice class. Now, I'd like to request any devotees have any questions or any comments, or anything they want to raise to Prabhuji from anyone.
Nobody's on the screen. Everybody's they are doing some work and listening probably.
Looks like no one has any questions, Prabhuji. Looks like. I don't see any hands raised. Anyone has any questions to Prabhuji?
Or any comments they want to share some, if they have any story of the book distribution or anything they have experienced, if they want to share, that would be nice so other can hear. See, they have something to share.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna, Dandavad.
Congress to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev.
Jai.
We met in 2008 in Parikrama. I was there in the Parikrama. I had your, association.
Oh,
And
Rajmandal Parikrama, huh?
yes, Prabhuji. At that time, we happened to exchange the numbers and never got a chance to interact with you. And
I just returned 2 days ago from India after completing that Kartik Parikrama.
Yeah, in fact, Prabhuji got your contact information from Her Grace Radhika Mataji. She gave me your contact. That's where I reached out to you. Thank you so much.
I see. Go ahead, Radhika.
So, Prabhuji, today the class is so much needed because last year, COVID time, we all had downtime working from homes, and everyone got involved into classes, Zoom classes every day. Before it was not possible pre-COVID, and a lot of them started reading also more books and more preaching happening. And a lot of times for the new congregation members, it's always a question. Everyone says read Prabhupada's books. Everyone says read Bhagavad Gita. Everyone says read Bhagavatam. But sometimes it's kind of hard for them to how to start with that, how to read. And today your class, kind of very helpful to read Prabhupada's books. And, and also a lot of times our acharyas, ISKCON, they say that through the Prabhupada's purpose, like you get the association of Srila Prabhupada. And I personally like, I read the books every day, Prabhupada, at least like if I'm like really wiped out, like 14-hour day, 15-hour day, still I try to read few verses of Bhagavatam. And if I miss out, if I'm in traveling or something, I miss out, I feel that missing component, the reading the Prabhupada verses. And I did understood initially, but then like now after like, trying to practice that habit, I feel that even if I don't spend a lot of time reading the verses, definitely, I feel that I miss out like Prabhupada's association. And definitely it's a big, big blessing for all of us. Prabhupada's books, as Prabhupada says, like, he's there. He's still with us through the books. And I feel that personally, that's my realization. And
that's what
very,
he
very
said
grateful.
That. He said that, isn't it?
Yes.
He said that I will never die. I shall live from my books and you will utilize them. Yes,
Prabhuji.
So
and I realized that, and he has given so much. He has given so much. And as one more thing, I always feel very, very grateful personally. He has given such a high place for Mataji's in ISKCON. Yes, and what he's preaching, what he preached and preaching through his books, talking about the soul and the body, that is like, I feel a big example, soul and the body. It's not about, you said like, I'm an Indian, like, I'm a European, American, that's not at all a, thing. It is a soul body. And here, when it comes to female, male, it's again the same thing. So I personally feel like, he has given really a highest respectful position for Matajis in this moment, and they play a crucial role. We see all our senior devotees, and so that's my realization. I thought I will share it with you all.
No, you are right, because he did not, as you say, he didn't see on the bodily concept of life anybody. He saw on the soul. He saw the soul in that living entity, and his main point was how to engage the soul in the service of the Lord, so the super soul. That's what his goal was, and that's what he tried to do on this planet while he was on and he did it, and he's doing it through his books and through his followers. Now it is our responsibility, our job to share this knowledge with others wherever we go, wherever we are. Doesn't matter, at our workplace or in the business place, or to our friends, our relatives. All this, that's what we try to do, and that helps us and that helps them ultimately. That's what we need to do. So yes, you are right. Thank you. I mean, I know we didn't connect for a long time, but now it's never too late, isn't it?
Yes, Roji, we Prabhupada's family. We are always there, like, we know we are there everywhere, like, for each other. So
Right.
when the time and situation comes, yes, definitely we'll be connected. So this is one of those opportunities. And thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your wonderful
you.
class. I was, deep in my heart somewhere, I thought I would get to, today's class, we get to hear more about Rajdam, stories. But again, I told the Shamgidari Prabhuji, like, Prabhuji, I know whatever classes I heard from him, they all are about Bhagavatam and the Kathas, and they're so beautiful. But again, we have this occasion coming in December about the book distribution and all that. So, but somewhere deep in my heart, I was thinking like, oh, hope Prabhuji says something about Katha. But maybe in future we can
some
have.
other time. Yes, some other
Yes.
time in the future we can talk about, take one of the forest of the Braj, and we can talk about it and talk one or two pastimes related
Yes.
to that Krishna's
Yes.
pastime. We can do that
Sure,
sometime in the future. Thank
Sure,
you.
sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanavad Pranam always to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have a question about
Go ahead.
today's scenario. Often when we go book distribution, we come across some smart people, and they say that why are you encouraging at this age books, printing books, especially printing books? Nowadays, electronic media is increased so much, and internet is available everywhere. Any coffee cafe or even on the road, it is available now. And by printing so many books and everything, distributing it, you are cutting down trees or something, and so this electronic media is evolving so fast. Why are we still going with this kind of distribution? So any thoughts and ideas, how do we interact with them? How do we convince them?
Sure. Of course, the electronic media is everywhere, and everything is there in electronic media. We know that we can go on the internet and we get all the books, all books we can read, Srila Prabhupada books on the internet. We know that. But consider another point. See another side of that. We have seen many pastimes, many stories. Someone bought a book, and its book stayed on that bookshelf for whole life, and their grandson or their other son or a relative comes and looks at the book, and they become the devotee. We have seen this. So yeah, electronic media is there. If the look at the other side. Even though we have electronic media, we go in each house, you will see the whole bookshelf with so many books. Go in any house, still the books are there in their houses. All different kinds of books are still there in the houses, on their bookshelves. Go in any house, you see. So the people in the material world, they complain about the cutting down the trees and all that. But what garbage you are sending to them? How much newspaper we get in every day in our mailbox of so much junk. Every day we have to throw away that junk in the garbage, isn't it? So the point is that we are using that books. Krishna ultimately it's Krishna's creation. Look at it that point, that viewpoint. We say that use the body with the bad bargain. We say that, isn't it? Use the bad bargain. So the point is creation. Whose creation is this? Krishna's creation. So we are utilizing Krishna's creation in his service. So what's the problem with that? If something belongs to someone, we are utilizing that for that person. So Krishna's universal form is saying everything. Everything is universal form, everything is Krishna. In Krishna's belly everything is there. Whole world. Where Krishna's, I'm going through it a bit more time, but give you an example. We had this Damodar month, right? And Krishna, Mother Jasoda is trying to tie up Krishna with a rope. You all know about that, right? And the Krishna's belly is what? 3 feet, not even 3 feet. It's a very small belly. And Mother Jasoda cannot tie up to this boy. And not just that, when they said another pastime where Balaram complained of Krishna to Mother Jasoda that Krishna is at the dirt, right? And Krishna said, no, Balaram is lying, but he's making up. No, he cannot lie. Mother Jasoda, he cannot lie. He's telling the truth. Open your mouth. When Krishna opens his mouth, what she sees? She sees everything in his mouth. Not just everything, but she sees herself and Krishna in his mouth. So this shows that in Krishna's belly is everything. In his belly, everything is there. Whole creation is there. So everything belongs to Krishna. So we are utilizing in his service. So what's wrong with that? You guys are spending so much unnecessarily. You are cutting down the trees and making so much big skyscrapers, buildings by cutting down the trees. But here, Hare Krishnas are using that to print the books so that the books can be, and just touching the books, that's another thing. That is a good point. Srila Prabhupada said that once someone will just touch my book, even just touching it, even though that person might not buy it, just touching my book, he said he will be benefiting. These are words of the pure devotee. So people can argue so many ways they want to. If they want to buy, they can. When they don't want to buy, they can put many arguments. We know that. But Hare Krishnas are expert to overcome those arguments and bring them to the right point. Correct? Understand? I hope that answers.
Yes, Prabhu. I think you made a wonderful point on the same lines that I'm thinking about the paper, the daily paper that we receive it in terms of ads, this and that, and so much newspaper about politics news. If we look at the percentage of trees cutting down, is the newspaper is the highest in the world. So
yes.
With that comparison, what we deliver is, for a good purpose. So, so if you look at it even in a materialist perspective, good versus bad, so you receive more benefit to the society than the other side. As you said, all the pamphlets we are receiving it, throwing in the garbage even without looking at it.
Right.
But this one is even by touching it to throw into a dustbin or something, even by touching it, you gained something.
Exactly.
You gained something. So
Exactly.
yes, your argument is wonderful. And also I had some argument like this in one of the one. So I told him, he said like, hey, PDF files, these are all convenient. You need power, you need battery for your laptop, and your laptop, you see, all these things are determined, required, and you need to be in. But if you have a book, you carry it anywhere you want it. It is at your convenient. At the least, when you are sleeping, you can put it on your head as a pillow, but you cannot do the same with your laptop.
Right.
So, in many levels, so it's a humorous point of, I just mentioned it. But again, as you said, Prabhu, if they don't want it to buy, they can argue in different ways. But if they wanted to buy, we don't need to explain anything at all.
How many times we go to someone's house? See the practical example.
Yeah,
And we see in their living room, we see the bookshelves.
yeah,
I mean, I do it all the time. And some interesting book comes up. Let me look at this book, right? And we start looking at it, and it's something interesting. And this is what happened. This is the way many devotees have joined Hare Krishnas. There are many devotees. Their parents or their grandparents or their relatives had bought Bhagavad Gita or something, and they saw on the bookshelves and read it. Oh, this is interesting. Let me go check it out. It has happened so many times to so many people.
yeah. I definitely agree. I think, yeah, Krishna is existing in books, so book must be there in home. So whatever it is, kind of. So there is no argument there. Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Such a nice,
Thank you.
wonderful shares.
Thank you. Thank you.
Prabhuji, I want to just add, Subhasak Prabhuji, the point. Even I have come across some people arguing at this. Hey, if it is online, it is more convenient. When I'm in the airport, I can read, or when I'm like, somewhere like, I can just take my iPad and read. I get that, but I'm kind of little blunt. So I tell them like, that the main thing, I ask them, why do you prefer like, the ebook than the regular book? They say it's after I read like the book, I don't want to keep it. It's like, junk. Like once I read, like I'm done with that. But then I try to explain them, these books are not for one time reading, these are for the life. So that one thing I tell them, and I tell them to this: when you open the book and when you're turning the pages, definitely you have that you're engaging your senses too, like touch, and you kind of go back, and also what is the guarantee of your ebooks, like the charging, and if you're on the plane, like sometimes it's not downloaded. So yeah, that's part I always get this, but a lot of times it's just that people look for the convenience. Read the books, not they think this is just a book like to read and I'm done with the book kind of thing. So that's where like I try to elaborate more, like importance of reading more number of times, getting to the depth. So that's my experience, Prabhuji.
No, and it is true. Let's put it. For ladies, okay. If I show you the jewelry in my hand, when you want to buy jewelry, piece of jewelry, earrings, let's say earrings, okay. When you see it on the internet, it looks nice, but when you touch it, ladies like to touch it. Ladies like to put that earrings. The touch is feelings. Am I right? Right? Feelings. So when we have book, Srila Prabhupada book in our hand, particularly when I give a class, I have an iPad and all the books are there. But still, when Srila Prabhupada Srimad Bhagavatam is in my hand and I read it, and I have to give a class, it makes me something more internally. It gives it's completely different feeling than just having to go through the computer and internet. And that's my experience, and that's why I like to have a book. Of course, when I travel, it's difficult to carry all the volumes. Then the internet, then the iPod is there. But the point is that there is a different feelings when you have a book in your hand, touching it and reading it. Okay. That's my viewpoint. Anything else?
Yeah, very nicely explained, Prabhuji. I agree with you, Mataji, and Suprasad Prabhuji. Books is will give a different touch feeling, and at the same time, when we have a book in our hand, that's a different kind of feeling. I personally, yeah, compared to online. I agree. But in a rare scenarios, it's when there is no possibility for the book, then it's a different scenario. But book is a book, comparison, right? Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Any other devotees, any other comments, questions, any realizations would like to share?
Yeah, one last comment on that one, as you mentioned it. One more thing it come across, and this is the one I often use it. When you take a book that goes with you, it is yours to keep it, and you own it actually. A PDF file or something, it is available, it is not yours. Someone else is maintaining that website for you, and it is at his convenient. If his server is up, his power is up, everything is up, you are able to read it. And everything is depend on someone. So if you look at the dependency, a book of your own versus a PDF file available on the web. So many dependencies there. Here it is at your convenient, and you pick it up this book, and it is yours, and it is staying in your home. And whatever it is, you can highlight it, you can scribble it, you can do many things, but you cannot do the same thing with the PDF file. You can make notes out of it or something, but that's different. Again, this is yours too, and you have a feeling of ownership to do something with it. I just wants to add last thing.
Good point. Good points. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Such a nice
Thank
class.
you for engaging me, and I really appreciate that helpful I am to serve all of you. So in the future, if you want, we can talk about some Brajmandal Parikrama.
Oh yeah, definitely, Prabhuji. Let's see our yes.
We
Let's
can
see our
take
schedule,
one
Prabhuji.
forest. We
Yes.
can take one forest and talk about that forest and pastimes.
Sure, Prabhuji. Sure.
Thank you.
Maybe you can recommend what forests are important. I mean, say everything is important. I'm not distinguishing any importance. I mean, more touching kind of thing. More good experiences and realizations. So that definitely, Prabhuji. I'll be in touch with you, and we can plan for a regimental parikrama, nice forest-based classes, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Vanchakalpatarubhasya kripa sindhuvyocha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Vishnu Thakur's Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.